Look at the clouds, the orange, the gold, the sky is nice. I like the way the roof's gone. Way the roof's gone.
Hey guys, it's Christine and welcome back to my channel. Today we're in a little bit of a different setup. We are in my kitchen because we are going to be spending 24 hours recreating Kylie Jenner's famous recipes. And I am so excited. Her food always looks so good. And if it's coming from the queen herself who has that much money and can have any food she wants and she makes these recipes, I'm like, they have to be good. So we are going to be making breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. So on the menu today, we have French toast, a toasted sandwich, her Fusili recipe, and then her famous chocolate chip cookies. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. And then if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to see more from me. And let's go. You guys, I am so excited for breakfast. We are going to be making Kylie's infamous flaky French toast. There's surprisingly not that many ingredients and it looked delicious. I've never seen anybody make like a cornflake crust before. So I am so pumped to try this out. I haven't changed since my morning workout, but I felt like that was appropriate because Kylie on Instagram is always showing her on the treadmill doing her workouts. This is the absolute first thing that I'm doing before I get ready for today because I can't wait any longer. So the ingredients are French toast bread, frosted flakes, cinnamon, vanilla extract, eggs, milk, and butter. So I mean, without further ado, let's just get started. So the first thing it says is to mash up some cornflakes in a little baggie to make it kind of like a breadcrumb crust. So we're gonna do that first. Okay, I think that is good. Okay, so the next step is to combine the milk, the cinnamon, the vanilla, and the egg into a bowl. And then this gets poured onto a plate. And then while I whisk this together, it says to start a knob of butter on the stove. So I'm gonna go start the pan and then we can start assembling. Okay, so now the recipe says to soak the bread in the mixture for a few minutes and then to cover it with the breadcrumbs. So I think we're ready to go. This looks so good. Okay, so now I think we are ready to put it on the stove. It says it cooks about 4 to 6 minutes per side, so in about 10 minutes, we should be ready to try this out. Okay, so our French toast is officially done. The website doesn't list the specific toppings that she puts on top of it, but I just grabbed everything that I could think of that are typical French toast toppings. So we have some chocolate chips, we have some syrup, of course the butter, and then some confectioner's sugar. So I'm gonna kind of whip up just like a little moment here. I do have to say one thing, that this cooked way faster than the recipe said. You can see on top it got a little bit like burnt on the cornflakes. I feel like it could have cooked in half the amount of time, so instead of 4 to 6 minutes, maybe 2 to 4 minutes per side. But I am starving. This looks absolutely delicious and I wish you guys were here and could smell it right now, but I'm just gonna start adding some things on top. I'm just gonna do a few chocolate chips, of course a little smidge of butter. We're gonna try to make this a little fancy and add some sugar on top. And then last but not least, the best part, some syrup. Okay, so here we have it, you guys, the finished product. Let's go ahead and take a little bite. I'm so excited. I hope that it's as good as it looks. Do you hear that crunch? You guys, that is really good. I honestly don't think that I can make French toast without cornflakes anymore. I thought for sure that by soaking the bread and adding the cornflakes after, that the cornflakes were going to be soggy. They are just as crunchy as when they came out of the box. What the heck, Kylie? This is amazing. I'm going to go ahead and eat this and then let you guys know what I think after, because so far, wow. Okay, you guys, so we are back with my official review. Today, we're gonna be rating everything in Chris's. So on a scale of 1 to 5 Chris's, what do I think this is? And I have to say, I couldn't finish it. I ate like 3/4 of it, but it was just so filling. But I feel like in general, French toast is, especially because you use a thicker bread, it's just a lot more food. But I'm going to rate today 4.5 Chris's. I think that's pretty accurate. This was honestly so good. The crunch, the fact that it stayed crunchy was so surprising to me, but I think it added just an extra level to the French toast. So that was really good. I'm going to clean up and do the dishes and then catch you guys back here for lunch. That is gonna be another good one.
They're done.
Okay, you guys, we are back for the next round. We are about to do lunch and we're going to be recreating Kylie's crispy sandwich, which I'm so excited about. It is totally up my alley. I absolutely love a good sandwich, especially when they have like pepperoni and salami. Like, I love an Italian sandwich. So today we're going to be doing just that. This one is going to be served hot, which I don't usually go for hot sandwiches. So this one will be interesting for me, but I am starving, so let's go ahead and get into the ingredients. So for today's recipe, we need an Italian sub roll, shredded turkey, sliced salami, they used 3 pieces, sliced pepperoni, they used 2 pieces, and then your choice of cheese. They used 2 slices of sharp cheddar. I'm going to use pepper jack, and then 2 slices of provolone, 1 to 2 handfuls of shredded lettuce, a spoonful of mustard, a spoonful of mayo, pickles, and thinly sliced olives. So the first step is to preheat the oven so that way you can toast your cheese ahead of time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that started just so we can work on the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so for the oven, we have to put the French bread in there with the cheese, and it specifically says so that the cheese melts down the side. So I'm just going to add the provolone onto one side and then the pepper jack onto the other. I love cheese. So I'm going to go put this in at 425 for 6 minutes so that it can melt while we assemble. While that is cooking, we are going to start the salad slaw. So it says you mix your mayo and your mustard, then you add in the lettuce, and it says specifically you need to mix these first and then add in the lettuce to get the correct consistency for the sandwich. So let's go ahead and do that. And for the ratio, it just says to do a spoonful. Looking good. Now I'm gonna put in some lettuce. I feel like with mixing the mustard and the mayo with the lettuce instead of putting them individually on the sandwich, this is going to keep everything kind of like sticking together, so you won't have so many vegetables like fall out of the sandwich, if that makes sense. So now that this little slaw is complete, I'm going to chop up some of these onions because these just get laid on the sandwich separately. So now we're just gonna wait for the bread to be done. I can hear it sizzling over there, and then we will assemble and then get a bite. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. I'm glad I went with the pepper jack. It browned very nicely. It says the first thing to add to the sandwich is the meat. So I'll add the turkey first. There. And she specifically does 3 pieces of salami and then 2 pieces of pepperoni, and then it says to add the pickles and then the onions and then top with the slaw. This is so unique. This might be game changing. Okay, so I think it is cooled down enough. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and I hope that it tastes just as good as it looks. This is a huge sandwich. Okay, I'm just going in for a bite. Oh my gosh. Like I said before, I don't really typically like hot sandwiches. I just think that the hot sandwich with the like cold meat always was kind of weird to me. But for some reason, because the mayo and mustard made the lettuce like soggier and then the crunch of the onion, like, I'm not a food critic, I'm not even good at cooking, I just really wanted to try these recipes. This is amazing. Honestly, there's so many other toppings you could put on here. You could put like red wine vinegar, you could put like banana peppers, something like that, even change out the condiment, but this is delicious. I'm gonna keep eating it to see what I think, and then I'll come back with my official rating. Oh my gosh. So I completely ate that up. I was so starving. I feel like it was missing something. I feel like maybe next time, like, add more turkey. She didn't say how many slices of turkey she puts on it, or maybe like a tomato. I feel like just the bread was overpowering, but I would have to say if you guys make this recipe, I would 100% making it with the French bread. I don't think that like a regular slice from a loaf would give you the same effect. I feel like the fluffiness and thickness of the bread is really what like pulled it together. It was definitely messy. The mustard was kind of like spilling off as I was eating it, but I mean, it's a sandwich. I feel like it also reminded me, if you live in California, I think it's only in California, Board and Brew. I feel like the sandwich tasted like something they would make, and I love that place. So I would have to say I give this 4 Chris's out of 5 because I would definitely totally make it again. I just feel like I might add another ingredient or just like a little bit more meat next time, but the flavors were there. It was delicious and I loved the bread in it, so that was really good. So we have one more meal coming up before dessert, so I will catch you guys back here when it's time to make dinner.
Nice to meet Kylie Jenner.
What?
Okay guys, welcome back to the dinner portion of today's video. Tonight we're having Kylie's infamous Fusili pasta for dinner. She's posted this on her Instagram and even has it saved to a highlight multiple times. I've seen her make this at least 3 times. So I know that she's really well known for this recipe, but I've never had pasta made like this. I've made sauce from like the cans from scratch, like mixing it all together, but I've never like peeled my own tomatoes, roasted them, put them in a blender, and like fully made it from scratch. So tonight will be a special treat and I am so excited to see how this tastes. It also called for celery and carrots, and I don't typically cook with those, especially not in like pasta or pasta sauce. So this will be new. I'm excited to see how it goes. So yeah, we might as well get started. So for this recipe, we need tomatoes, onions, carrots, celery, olive oil, salt and pepper, garlic, oregano, basil, pasta, and Parmesan. So the first thing that the recipe calls for is tomatoes, and then you're supposed to slice and quarter them and then place them onto an oven sheet and then pour over some olive oil, salt, and pepper over top. I already did that before filming this clip because those tomatoes have to cook for 30 minutes and I wanted everything to kind of get a head start on cooking before we put it into the blender so that it has enough time to cool down. So I also pre-cut the carrots, the celery, and the onion. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, and they're roasting right now. So on to step 2. Basically, we just cook them until they're soft, and then once they're good to go, we add the garlic for just a few seconds. And now I'm going to start boiling the water for the pasta so that we can get everything going, and then once those are finished, the tomatoes should be just about ready to come out of the toaster oven. Okay, so now the next step is once the tomatoes and veggies are done, we have to blend them up until smooth. This is the only blender I own, so I'm gonna have to do them separately, do the tomatoes first, and then do the carrots and onions in a different one. And then once this is complete, they will simmer on the stovetop for 10 minutes. We'll add it to the pasta noodles and then add the Parmesan and we'll be done. So it smells really good in here. I know I've said that about every recipe, but I feel like so far we've had really good luck with her recipes. So let's just get on finishing this one. Okay, so I have the finished product in front of me. It said to serve on top with Parmesan as the last step of the recipe. So I'm going to do that. I have to say, this looks completely different than I thought it would. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. As you can see in the footage from before, I had a really hard time mixing the carrots and the celery. Like, it wasn't watery enough, but then the tomatoes perfectly pureed. So I was adding a thick consistency to the pureed tomatoes. So that was a little weird. And I'm surprised that there's not any like red pepper flakes or tomato paste or anything like that. It's just like full-on veggies. So I'm interested to see how this is. I'm kind of scared. Oh wow, okay. I thought for sure that I was gonna hate this. Like, I was really worried. The recipe did say that if you added carrots, that adds some sweetness, so I can definitely taste the carrots in here. And oddly enough, so far, I don't have the consistency bothering me at all. This is actually not that bad. I'm gonna go finish this off camera and then come back with my final thoughts on Kylie Jenner's infamous Fusili recipe. Okay, so I'm back with my review. I have to say I'd probably give it 3 Chris's out of 5. For some reason, like, even though it tasted good, I couldn't like get out of my head just like the thick paste that half of the vegetables were. And then after a little while, you just get sick of the same taste of the sauce. Like usually red sauces or white sauces or even pink sauces, they're like creamier and good, but this one was just kind of like, you could tell it was pureed vegetables. And it's definitely probably healthier than anything else that you could make or buy. But I didn't love it, and I don't think that I would make it again. Or if I did, I would have to make a few tweaks. And another thing I want to mention before anybody comments it is that I ordered Fusili noodles at Ralph's, and then they substituted with rotini because they weren't out of it. So that is why I used rotini noodles instead of the other kind, because Ralph simply just did not have it. But yeah, that is my final thought on dinner. And now we have one more recipe to go. We have probably the most important meal of the whole entire day, which is dessert. So we are going to be making that next in a little while. So
Kylie Jenner, I'd like to be in Stormy in my movie.
Okay, so it's officially dessert time. We are going to be making Kylie Jenner's cookie recipe. This is another thing that you can go back on her stories on Instagram and see her make multiple times. And who doesn't love a good chocolate chip cookie? So I have this mixing bowl in front of me. It's very Kylie Jenner pink, if you ask me. And we're going to go ahead and get into the ingredients. So for this recipe, you need flour, salt, baking soda, butter, brown sugar, granulated sugar, vanilla extract, eggs, semi-sweet chocolate chips, and milk chocolate chips. And again, my love-hate relationship with Ralph's. I ordered milk chocolate chips and they did not give me any. So we are just going to do twice as much of the semi-sweet chocolate chips because that is all I have, but it's okay because they will be good nonetheless. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is mix the flour, the salt, and the baking soda. So this we mix on its own, and then it seems like we set it aside and then add it to everything else after. Okay, so I have another bowl here to mix the other half of ingredients. So in here goes butter, brown sugar, regular sugar, and vanilla. Okay, so I grabbed my little hand mixer to mix this together. I don't have a fancy standing one like Kylie because it's not a secret, but I do not have Kylie Jenner money. So I'm going to try my best to mix it. This cord's very short. And then once it's blended enough, we'll add the eggs in. Okay, so I had to finish that off with the hand mixer. This consistency is just so like sticky. I haven't had experience with cookie dough like this before. Like usually it just rolls up into like a moist ball, but this one's like a thick paste, which is kind of strange. But I was able to mix it all together. Now we're going to add in the chocolate chips. Okay, so that's everything. Now the recipe says to put these in the fridge for 1 hour and then we can bake them. So I think that's it for this recipe. I'm going to let these chill, literally, and then I'm going to bake them and show you guys the finished product. Okay, so the cookies are out of the oven. They're completely done. Again, like, it was just such a weird consistency making these. They feel like very cakey. They're not very like brown at all, but they're very thick and fluffy. So I'm really confused. The recipe said to cook them for 10 minutes. I ended up cooking them for 12 and then let them cool for like 10 minutes. So we're gonna do a taste test. I really hope that these are good. I don't really know what to expect. It's still kind of doughy in the middle, which is honestly like my favorite. Okay. That was a big bite. So it tastes like a cookie. It's definitely not the best cookie I've ever had. It's still like missing a little bit of flavor. It's sweet, it's good. I really like the chocolate chips. It's just missing something else. For that reason, I would probably give it 3 Chris's out of 5. I wouldn't make these again. I think that there's definitely better chocolate chip cookie recipes out there, although this one didn't seem to have as many ingredients, so maybe that's why it's a little bit more bland. But overall, I think that these are pretty good. They're just not something that I would gravitate towards. Okay, you guys, and that is it for today's video. I hope that you like making Kylie Jenner recipes for 24 hours. If you did like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos from me. And let me know in the comments down below if you guys ended up trying any of these recipes or if you've tried them before. But until next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.